YMCA CEO Shawna Tello and the Volunteer of the Year, Dan Bishop. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Bart.
Yeah, and congratulations, Dan.
Thank you very much.
So it's interesting, the last time Dan was on our show, it was as a volunteer, but a volunteer for Catholic Charities.
Oh, yes.
So you're a very busy volunteer.
I probably should get a day job to slow down.
Balance everything
Yeah,
out.
get some balance in my life. It's all good. It's all good.
Now, Shawna, the annual awards that you present at the Party for a Cause on last Friday, they're surprises to the winners?
We try to keep it a surprise as much as possible. We work with the families to make sure we get them there and actually to fill a table to support them. Maylin Pratt was our Employee of the Year this year, and you'll remember Maylin oversees our programs for people fighting Parkinson's disease. So Maylin was there with her family and several of her fighters, and of course Dan, our Volunteer of the Year. His parents were there, his wife was there, his kids were there. It was a really special night.
So you didn't know, but you saw your parents there, so you must have known something was up.
Well, there apparently were some many clues in preceding weeks, which I missed once again. But I did have a sense that day that something was up. But as we're walking into the event, a Y staffer said, "Do you happen to know Tom and Betty Bishop?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I did," and it was delightful to see them. But then my daughter was able to come from Ann Arbor also.
Well, that's awesome.
So a wonderful night.
And Tom and Betty Bishop, there's Maylin's picture, but Tom and Betty Bishop, longtime viewers of the show here, so we'll say hi and thanks for going to the party. Here's some shots from Friday night. Thanks to JTV's Sarah Scaife for these photos.
And she was incredible. Yeah.
Looks like the party I wish I was at.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
Dan and Karen.
Dan and Karen. I was at the Lumen Christi game,
Right.
and we had a table. Andy and some others were there.
Yes, JTV's been a longtime sponsor of the event. We had a great turnout. We were nervous. This is the first time we've done it on a Friday night. Historically, we've done them on Thursday nights, and the feedback we've had from people attending the party is, this is such a fun event. It's even more than a fundraiser for us. It's a great night out. Could you move it to Fridays? So this was our first time moving it to Friday. Great music, 50 amp views.
It's successful with a large number of cars in the parking lot Saturday morning.
Oh, okay. I didn't think to look for that, but that's a good point.
It's
A sign of
A sign of a good party.
a good time.
But we were nervous being up against the Lumen Christi game. We were nervous
And the
about
Napoleon
that.
game,
And
too.
Napoleon, yeah. But we ended up having a really good turnout, and we haven't counted everything down yet, but we had a very successful silent auction, live auction. That's our board president and our treasurer, Matt Kerfman, our president, Dr. Duda, our treasurer. This is one of the hot items in the in the live auction every year. We call it our barrel of holiday cheer. So yeah, I think Sarah Benedetto won that this year. Our beautiful board of directors.
Who won it this year?
I think Sarah Benedetto.
Sarah Benedetto?
Yes.
Well, I'm sure they'll put it to good use.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, Dan, Volunteer of the Year. One of the things you did last week was you sent us some photos of the demolition of the building still on the Y property.
Yes.
That was above and beyond as a volunteer. But what are some of the things that thanks to Dan, photo credit by Dan Bishop.
Credit?
Greg gets a beautiful photo. So I was coming out of the Y, and we knew this was scheduled, but the city had hired demolition crews for these are the buildings kind of kitty corner from St. Mary's on Mechanic and Wesley, and it's a beautiful thing when the demolition of buildings happen to prepare the site for activities. But so in addition to providing communication support, the Marketing Communications Committee, I've been involved with the capital campaign, terrific group of people. And I might make an observation, Bart, Y worked with national consultants that Shawna and Matt brought in to help the capital campaign think about issues. And, you know, an observation they made on a regular basis was, you know, Jackson is really a special place. And we hear that, we might think that, but when you get national people coming in, talking about the quality of people, the commitment to the community, the willingness to put skin in the game, you know, they see it, and it sort of validates what a lot of us feel, that this is a special community because of its size. Not too big, not too small. It's kind of
just
a
right.
Goldilocks community.
Right, right. And Dan is absolutely right. And what he's not mentioning is how impressed these consultants have been specifically with our volunteers, the team that we've been able to put together of volunteer leadership. There were a lot of people that thought we would not achieve that fundraising goal of $25 million, and we did, and we even exceeded it. And we attribute that to the leadership of the volunteers on this committee, on these committees, Dan being one of them, sitting on the capital campaign cabinet and also chairing the marketing and communications committee. Just phenomenal people that really understand the impact that the Y has, and are willing to put skin in the game, like Dan said. We've been incredibly blessed.
Yeah, Dan, his career at Consumers Energy, his whole career at Consumers Energy, I believe, in public relations, public information. So
Yeah.
great professional experience to be that at the Y.
Right. We're very lucky. In fact, you know, Bonnie recently left the Jackson YMCA. Bonnie was our marketing and communications director to go work for the World YMCA based out of Switzerland. And so having Dan on the committee as the chair, he's done a tremendous job just sliding into helping us with some of the filling that gap as we transition to filling that position.
So what was it about Dan that the committee decided made him the volunteer of the year?
Well, in addition to a lot of time and talent invested in the work, it's little details like him driving past the demolition, knowing that we don't have Bonnie on the team right now, and having the comfort level and the willingness to just go ahead and put that out on our behalf, send that information to you. And then another big part of it is that he's an active user of the organization, of the facility. He has lifelong relationships with members of the organization. So he's there regularly, and then when he is there, he stops in and checks on the staff, asks how things are going, if there's anything anybody needs, and he definitely has a really unique presence about him. His ability to ask how things are going, you really get the sense that he genuinely wants to know how things are going, and if you did have a need, he would actually stop what he's doing and help you with that, or give you some counsel to get through it. And he really stands out for
Another
those
award
reasons.
he could get, and I know you'll agree with me 100%, Mr. Nice Guy. You're the nicest guy. And I think you bring that, you know, in your volunteer work to the Y, the Community Action Agency, the Catholic Charities, and other organizations, your church, other places you are involved in. You're the nicest guy.
Well, I have wonderful parents. All of my siblings, and they sort of exemplify neighborliness, friendliness, and sort of demonstrated that for all of us. So we really didn't have a choice, Bart. It was kind of
Your dad's the nicest guy as well, so I see that's, and your mom's the nicest
yeah.
lady, and so I guess that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
And his wife Karen is the nicest lady too.
She is too.
There's something about the name Karen. I
Mhm.
mean,
Yeah, that's my wife's name too.
Yeah.
there's
Dan,
pretty special Karen
Dan
here.
and Bart, we have a lot in common. We both married Karens. We both have Joes for kids. We got married on the exact same day, same year.
Yes.
And what else? There are a few other.
There's a few other
Yeah.
connections, but those are the ones we can share publicly.
Okay.
So, right.
All right, let's talk about Christmas parade night. because
Yes,
you'll be
yeah.
hosting a
Yeah, we're doing something really special this year. We're really excited to partner with Home.fm to bring a family movie to downtown Jackson. Typically, it's at the Michigan Theater, and that didn't work out this year, so we're excited to host it at the YMCA. So families, after the parade, come on down to the Y. We'll have the movie playing up in the gym. We'll have some great snacks available, thanks to our concession sponsor. And it'll be a great time for families to check out the YMCA, see what the facility has to offer. Bring a bathing suit if you'd like to swim. But the highlight of the evening will be the kids' movie downtown, and we'll have some of our youth development staff on hand. If your kids would like to meet any of our youth sports referees or our camp counselors, those folks will be there too to answer questions about the Y. And we're gearing up for our next sessions of swim lessons, youth sports, after-school programming, and of course, winter break day camp. So if you're thinking about signing your child up for any of those programs, coming into the facility for a community event like this is a good way to get your child, particularly the younger ones, acclimated with the facility and with the faces they'll see.
Yeah. So Dan, when you retired from Consumers Energy, the second your first day of retirement, you were out pounding the pavement, ready to go to work. You chose some organizations, including the Y, to be involved with. Why spend so much time? I think you probably spend as many hours volunteering as you did when you were employed.
Well, looking ahead, they say that's really key to your next chapter. I don't even call it retirement. I call it the next chapter of life. And so I came up with 5 things that I thought would make life interesting. And I call them adoration, which is, my faith life. How does that apply to service? What about my family? What about friends? And then what I call fun. And if those 5 things are in my day or in my week, life is rich and very satisfying. So volunteering, especially in your hometown or a community you care about, makes a big, it's satisfying. There's friendship involved. So it's really a nice option in the next part of your life.
Well, congratulations and thanks for all that you do for the community.
Thank you.
And thanks for coming in today.
Yeah.
Thanks, Shawna.
Thank you. Always a pleasure to be here and catch up, see everybody, and we really appreciate your continued support too.
Thank you. Jackson YMCA CEO Shawna Tello and Volunteer of the Year, Dan Bishop.